What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the NFL Offseason Reloaded. This week, we're doing the NFC West. I am, of course, Dan Kornhauser, here with my co-host, Mike Goodpaster. Mike, happy Wednesday. Are you ready for the final division before we can start focusing our next upcoming shows on the upcoming season? Put a bow on the offseason. Are you excited and are you ready?
I am always excited and I'm always ready. So let's get this done, Dan.
Let's do it. We got four teams, four questions per team. We're going in alphabetical order. NFC West. Mike, start us off. Best offseason addition or move for the Arizona Cardinals.
For the Arizona Cardinals, I think the Arizona Cardinals could have a top 10 defense this year. I thought they did good work in the draft. When you look at this, key additions, to me, it's Josh Sweat. I think Josh Sweat is a key addition to this team. I think if you look at their defensive line, it's going to be one of the deepest in football. So I'm going to go with Josh Sweat here.
Yeah, that was a great pick, a great signing by the Cardinals. They completely revamped their front seven. It's still questionable if they're going to be running a 3-4 still, if they're going to be moving over to a 4-3 front, but they should have a much better defense. Like you said, I'm going to go, since you went with Sweat, I'm going to go with their first round pick, Walter Nolan. Now, he is injured at the moment and might make him come on a little slower to start the season, but they took him high in the first round. He's got a ton of athletic ability. He's a great interior pass rusher. And you know what? Maybe he starts a little slow coming off the injury early in the year. But in the second half of the season is when he should really pick it up. With him, Darius Robinson, last year's first-round pick up front. They added Dalvin Tomlinson. They added Calais Campbell. I loved what they did up front. They had no choice. Their defensive line was one of the worst in the league, and they added a lot of quality pieces. Now, with that in mind, biggest loss. Now, I'll take this one. They didn't really lose, in my opinion, anyone of super importance, really. Bunch of backup guys and special teams players. But one guy they did lose, Kaiser White, linebacker, was one of the leaders of the defense, still under 30 years old, still in starting age. Pretty much a salary cap move. You can't sign everybody. He's still a free agent, and I think they'll be fine at linebacker. They have a few pieces that they brought in this offseason, including one of your boys. I think you liked him, Akeem Davis-Gaither from the Bengals.
Yeah, he's solid.
He might be one of their.
I'm just trying to get over the fact that you think Walter Nolan's a slam dunk pick.
I think he's a good fit for what they want to do up front. They needed that interior push.
You think that they really like to have guys that have very bad hand usage, guys that when they get tired are terrible, and he plays too high. He's one of the worst picks in this draft.
Wow, strong feelings early.
This is the thing. When you watch him play in college, he looks really good. But the thing is this, the one thing, defensive linemen to me are the biggest bust position in the NFL draft in the first round. And the reason I say that is this. If you've got, hold on, we'll get to Steve says definitely going to the deepest line in the NFL. They lost their 5 best defensive linemen for nearly the entire season last year. Hard to win that way. But I will tell you this, I still think this is a great defensive line, but I think Walter Nolan was a bad pick. And the easiest way I could explain this is this. He is a physical freak, correct?
Yeah.
That is the only reason he dominated in college. Yeah. It doesn't stand out because almost everybody in the NFL is a physical freak. The difference between guys that are great players in the NFL and not, if you're a defensive lineman, a lot of that is being able to have, a counter pass rush move. He doesn't have that. He is a guy that basically gets by on nothing but athleticism. That's why a lot of teams didn't value him as much as a handful of teams did. I think his hand placement is very bad. I think his pad level's too high. And those are things that can be coached out, but you would have to ask, can they? Because we see a lot of dudes come in that never fix that because everything here is muscle memory when you're an athlete, all right? You've been doing everything since you were 5 years old the same way. No coaches. Hey, and this is the thing. All indications are Walter Nolan has been great. The Cards love him. That's great.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything yet. Practice. All right. And in practice, everything is half speed nowadays. There's no actual hitting. That's fine. Walter Nolan, maybe he turns out to be an average guy, and then it'll be good. I don't think he's going to be better than that. And I mean, isn't he hurt right now?
Well, yeah, I started off by saying I think he's injured.
How are all indications that he's been great and the Cards love him? That would be my question, Steve. And thanks for listening. And I like to argue with people, so it's okay. So Dan will tell you that. I love Dan, and I always argue with him. Well, I don't love him. I
mean, you do. You kind of do.
He's all right. I mean, I'm kind of lukewarm on Dan, but most people are, I think. Even his mom is. So like I'm not big on Walter Nolan. I mean, the dude's a physical freak. But like I said,
nothing you said is wrong. Nothing you said is.
And I mean, the thing is this: there's very few defensive.
I'm not really pushing back too much, but
I would put it like this: I'm a Bengals fan. Remember Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson? They drafted him like #1 out of Ohio State. The problem was when you watch the film, he was just overrunning lesser guys. You get to the NFL, everybody's an NFL player. It gets a little bit more difficult. I still think it was an excellent draft outside of that pick, but I'll leave it at that, Dan.
Well, that's a good segue into the next question. Non-first round rookie who will make the biggest, most immediate impact in their rookie season for the Cardinals.
Hold on a second. I've got Steve again. Steve says Calais Campbell is a great mentor, and they aren't counting on him to be great right now. I disagree. If I'm drafting a guy at number 8, his ass better be great right now because I just gave him a ton of money. So I disagree.
No, Walter Nolan was 16th overall.
I meant top 20, whatever.
But yeah,
I still expect him to be if I'm drafting. That's still a lot of money. That's what?
Yeah.
Almost $20 million.
He's going to be expected to play, but that's the thing. The defense wants the way they wanted to run the defense up front. This is a copycat league. We just saw the Philly Eagles run out, 6 or 7 guys along the defensive front. And the Cardinals, I mean, who's their head coach?
Jonathan Gannon used to be the Philadelphia Eagles, but everybody runs out 6 or 7 guys on the defensive front.
Right. Now that seems to be the thing. Everyone seems to be getting on that bandwagon, but the Eagles just did it successfully.
No, it's always been a thing.
So
wait a second, Dan. It's always been a thing. The New York Giants won Super Bowl 42, the big upset, because they had a rotation of like 7 or 8 guys. It's always been a thing. I mean, hell, Trey Hendrickson doesn't play very much on running downs. I mean, there's not a whole lot of defensive linemen that play more than 50, 60% of snaps because you want to them fresh, especially against offensive linemen who are fat, slow, and get tired.
Well, Hendrickson not being a good run defender is one of your biggest beefs with the man.
Yes, it is, but that's why he's still valuable because you're only playing him on passing situations, and it's also why he's not worth $40 million.
But regardless,
and Steve says they have a ton of players. I said they have a ton of players. I don't like Walter Nolan.
They have quality depth up front that they didn't have before, and it's a huge step forward because guys like Tomlinson and Campbell still bring value up front, particularly Tomlinson in the run game, which is a huge problem for the Cardinals.
We're taking way too much time in the Cardinals.
We are. But yeah, we'll move on now. Fucking third question. Because Steve keeps getting us off track. Non-first round rookie is going to make the most immediate impact in his rookie season.
For the Cardinals?
For the Cardinals, I think there's an obvious one, but I have a dark horse.
I think there's a couple obvious ones. I actually like this draft. I think Will Johnson is an obvious one because that's a dude that I think was a top 10 player in this draft, and you got him at 47. I got 2 other guys. I'll leave them open for you.
Okay. So aside from Johnson, I have Simon, the linebacker out of Ohio State. Cody Simon is drafted in the 4th round. Starter at linebacker for Ohio State. He has a very clear path of playing time in Arizona. Their linebacking core isn't anything special. Mac Wilson is Davis Gaither, you like him, but he's only one piece of that puzzle. Owen Papo's shown nothing. I don't trust what's his face, Zaven Collins out on the inside. I know he's played inside linebacker in the past, but I think Cody Simon could start if not out of training camp, he should see playing time early and often.
I'm not blown away with it. My two guys would have been Jordan Birch and Trey Moore, because I think they really are both have huge starting upside potential if they continue to develop. So,
wait, who are the two?
I already told you.
Birch?
Don't you pay attention? Yes, I like Birch, and I like the other guy, Trey Moore. I mean, you look at Birch; he's a DN, and I think he can really do some things. And Trey Moore is a guy that was there last year. If both of those guys develop, that's even more pieces on the defensive line. That's why they're so deep there.
So we're done with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
We're gonna move on. No more distractions into left field. Let's go to the LA Rams. LA Rams, best offseason edition. Since you started us off, the last one, I'll take this one. The obvious one, and I'm going to say it, I like the low-hanging fruit. I like going first. Devontae Adams. You swap out injury-prone Cooper Kupp. You bring in Devontae Adams, one of the best wide receivers in the red zone, one of the most precise route runners, just an all-around elite wide receiver over the course of his career, and he fits like a glove with the Rams. I think it was a huge get, and I think it's a huge upgrade. The Kupp's arrows pointing down. I'll give that move an A+ to keep this offense humming.
Okay.
Mike?
I don't know, because I don't think the Rams did near enough here. I think they're still a contender in the NFC West, but I mean, I would say Adams too. Just, I don't think he is what he used to be, but he's still pretty good, and you're still pairing him up with Puka Nacua. So I'll stick with you there, because the Rams didn't do a whole lot that blew me away. Actually, if you want to say their best move, it was probably accepting the Falcons trade offer, which included the 2026 first round pick for the Falcons.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad you mentioned that. They what was that? What did I say it was back then? I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was highway robbery. I don't know what
you were probably drunk back then, so you don't remember.
Probably, but no. If not for Adams, I'd go with Poona Ford. Good run stuffer. I know a lot of teams were after him this offseason. They got him at a good price. He doesn't light the world on fire. He doesn't need to. Play first and second down. Play on the goal line. Be a disruptor in the middle. They've got Braden Fisk. They got Kobe Turner to try to get pressure in the passing game from the inside. So I think Poona Ford was a nice addition on the up front, at least veteran-wise, with all the young guys around him. Now, Mike, the biggest loss this offseason for the LA Rams, something special.
Well, if you told me Cooper Kupp would be healthy all year, I would say him. But
it should be Kupp. It's a shame.
It should be, and it might be by the time we're done, because I think Kupp is probably better than Adams now if he's healthy, just because of age. I mean, Adams has been around for a while. So, biggest loss, I think the biggest loss was their inability to get players in the offseason, including the draft, to tell you the truth. But when I look at this, I don't know. I'll say Cooper Kupp. I think you could throw Jonah Jackson in there, but how good is Jonah Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, another team that they didn't really lose. I don't think anyone special. Christian Rosenboom, linebacker. Cooper Kupp, as you mentioned. Demarcus Robinson, who was useful for them, ended up playing 81% of the snaps due to injury at the receiver position, but no one really tickles me to mention. How about non-first round rookie who will make an immediate impact? Now, all of their picks were non-first round rookies. There's honestly, I think there's 3 names that one could pick. I'm curious to see which direction you go.
I don't like any of them. I think their draft sucks. I think passing on Elijah Arroyo in favor of Terrence Ferguson will come back to bite them in the ass big time. They didn't really secure maybe another quarterback because Matt Stafford's almost 40 years old.
Man's got one foot out the door.
And I think there were a couple that may someday be halfway decent. I'll throw up here. I'll say Josiah Stewart from Michigan.
Okay, I like it.
Now, not that I think he's great, but I think he will be one of those guys in a 6 or 7 man rotation.
Well, Byron Young's been good for them opposite Jared Verse, but yeah, you always want that third edge rusher, and the position's open. They really don't have anyone established behind Young and Jared Verse. So Stewart could see time early this offseason or this upcoming season. For me, I'm going to go with someone who's been a darling in the fantasy football world. I'm going to go with Jerquez Hunter, the running back out of Auburn. I'm going to go with him because, well, he ran a 4.4 4.40, and he's one of the more north-south running backs in this class, which is perfect for them. They like their guys to get north-south quick. That's one of the reasons they love Kyren Williams. He's a guy who can take a 3-yard run, get it a couple extra. He's a good pass blocker, which is most of his value to them, but he's injury prone. I like Kyren Williams, but he's probably going to miss a couple of games. That's almost a guarantee, I feel, at this point. Blake Corum is nothing special. It's a similar player to Williams, but Hunter is something different. He's faster than both of those guys, and he adds a different element. And when Kyren Williams gets hurt, if Blake Corum is going out there plotting at 4.2 yards per carry or something like that, Hunter could be a nice change of pace and could see more time as the season goes on. And now finally, Mike, did this team get better, worse, or
you didn't ask that about either one of the first two teams.
This is the second team, but yes, I didn't ask that about the Cardinals, so we can.
I meant two teams. Yeah, with the Cardinals, I think the Cardinals got better. I think the Rams are basically treading water right now.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the Cardinals got better this offseason, which isn't difficult to do in your teams. But and for the Rams, I think it's pretty much a little bit of the same. I don't know if really they made any substantial upgrades. Like I said, I like Adams over Kupp, but with the rest of their team, they still have a ton of holes on the defense that I'm not a fan of. Particularly,
I'll tell you this division reminds me a lot of the NFC South and the AFC South. I think those three divisions battle it out for the worst division or the worst division overall.
It really should be the AFC South, and it shouldn't be close. Those teams are bad.
Those other two divisions aren't too hot either.
I don't know, man.
But I guess I don't think any Super Bowl winners are coming out 8-3.
No. Now, let's go to the West Coast. More West Coast. Let's go to California. I don't know what I'm talking about. San Francisco 49ers, the best off-season addition or move. Mike, I'm going to start us off with this one. I'm going to say best off-season move or addition was re-signing all of their studs. You got to have stars. They re-signed their quarterback. They found the quarterback. They had to pay him. They were wise to do so.
They weren't.
I hate that.
No, I'm sorry. He's not a guy. He's just a guy. Sorry, he's just a guy.
He's their guy.
Yeah, good for him. He's your guy, and you're never, ever going to win a Super Bowl with him.
Well, that's the thing. They hope they are, and by keeping talent around him, they're trying. Now, he wasn't the only one. Purdy was one. George Kittle was another. Fred Warner was another. Like, these are all vets that have been on the team for years. Warner's he's one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's their best.
But I'll tell you what,
player.
if Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey, if Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams miss significant time being injured, this team's going to be ass, because I think the offseason grade for this team's like a D- to an F, especially when you're looking at free agency. I don't see anything here that really blows me away.
Damn, nothing that stands out for you?
What stands out to you? I mean, when we're talking about new guys brought in, what stands out?
Mm-hmm. Well, you could talk about Michael Williams, Georgia edge rusher they took.
That's a draft overall. Pick. I'm talking about offseason free agency. What did they do?
Not much.
Exactly.
Not much. But again, this wasn't an offseason of spending money wildly.
Well, remember this, though. They re-signed a few guys. You got no Deebo Samuel, no Ward, no Greenlaw, no Floyd. I mean, they lost some players here. So who was the biggest loss out of all those guys, Dan?
Biggest loss for me, I'm going to say Deebo Samuel, because every time Deebo missed time, This offense didn't
wait a second now.
right.
This is what I'm getting to. You know why? Because all imagination with this offense dies when he's not there. And Brock Purdy is not an elite quarterback who can win you games if you don't have something else to show other teams.
Well, that's the thing. Last year was a weird year. They dealt with a lot of injuries, and the hope is it sounds like Christian McCaffrey is healthy. So the hope is
he's had what,
back,
one or two healthy seasons in his entire career. And Trent Williams is old.
Trent Williams is old, and that's one of my biggest concerns with this team.
No, I'll give you this pick right now. The 49ers ain't going to sniff the playoffs. The 49ers are a 7-8 win team at best.
7,
and I think it falls more towards 5 and 7 because you got no Deebo Samuel. And the thing about Shanahan's offense is when it was in Atlanta or San Francisco, you had some electrifying wide receivers you could do other stuff with, or you had running backs you could do other stuff with. This is going to be more. We're going to see if Brock Purdy's worth $40 or $50 million this year, and he's not.
Well, the hope will be that guys like Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings step up. And again, Jennings played well for them last year. Ricky Pearsall got better, and particularly
I'm just telling you this, Dan. If I'm paying a quarterback like $50 million a year, he better be pretty much all I need. You know, Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. If they're healthy, you're going to have a winning record. You're going to have a shot. I don't think that's the case with Brock Purdy.
And that's fine. And we will talk about the quarterbacks. We're doing
and he may not even be mentioned in my list. So he probably will because there's a lot of average dudes in the NFL. But
we're gonna be doing that. I'm excited
for that. Sunday night. That's one of my favorite shows of the year.
All
right, we'll do it next Wednesday then because Dan's not ready. Mom's probably going to make him go to the grocery store and then watch Lawrence Welk.
That's what we got to do, man. Sunday fun day. So we're both going with Deebo Samuel. If I had to,
that dude is the thing that makes that offense tick.
I mean, like I said, when he's been missing time the last couple of years, Purdy has struggled. The offense has looked different. And I know we kept talking about it multiple times over the last couple of years when Deebo's missed time and his team's fallen off offensively. I would list probably Charvarius Ward as my number 2. Ward's one of the better unheralded wide cornerbacks in the NFL. He played really well for them the last couple of years. Went to the Colts. Great addition for Indy, but this secondary is kind of hurting anyway. And losing him and Hufanga was a couple of big losses for that defense. Now, Mike, non-first round rookie who will make an immediate impact. This is a pretty deep class. You're going to have a few solid
I'm going to say C.J. West from Indiana. I watched a lot of Indiana football. Nice. I think him and Alfred Collins were great picks for this 49ers team. I think they're both guys that within a year will be a force as defensive linemen. And they're already, put it like this, I think that they both need work a little bit with the pass rush moves, but they can stop the run. And I'm going to go C.J. West. I know it's a little Indiana bias there, but I think the dude's going to do a great job.
No, I love West. He's a little short lengthwise for the inside. Yeah.
Well, we're not talking about your height. Go ahead.
We're going to phrasing. But I think he's a great fit in their 4-3 interior defensive rotation. I'm going to go with another small guy, Giggity. Upton Stout, nickelback, safety. They drafted out of Western Kentucky. Also undersized, but he's gritty. He's a good tackler. He can play safety. He can play special teams. He can play in the slot. And I think he'll give him another defensive back option on a team that is lacking quality defensive back options. I mean, Lenoir is maybe their best player in the secondary. Other than that, a couple of free agents hoping steps up. Maybe Jair Brown takes the next step at safety. If Eli Apple is one of your likely starters at corner on the outside, it's not a good state of affairs. So Upton, if he's not going to lock down a starting spot out of the nickel coming out of training camp, he's going to see plenty of time this season, and he's going to probably lock that spot up before the end.
And we also want to send a shout out to Robert Stewart, who's watching. Go ahead. What do we got next, Dan?
All right, Robert. Okay.
Did they get better or did they get worse?
Did they get better, worse, or stay the same? I'm gonna say they got worse. They didn't upgrade their offensive line. We don't know when Brandon Ayuk's coming back. Trent Williams gets hurt.
Hey, what I tell you about the language?
Their secondary, I said, is like I mentioned, is a huge issue. I just too many questions for me for them this season. And Mike, I'm going to assume you're going to say the same. They got worse this year.
I already pretty much said that anyway. So
this offseason, no. Okay, that's it for the San Francisco 49ers. We got one team left. We're going out to Seattle. The Seattle Seahawks, best offseason edition. I'm going to start us off on this one.
Real quick,
I'm going to go with
Robert Stewart wants to know if Curtis Rourke is with the 49ers right now, Dan.
They drafted him.
That's what I thought.
They drafted him, I think, in the 7th round or something like that. I don't know why he wouldn't be with them in training camp. I haven't heard any news coming out of training camp about him. You know, I always try to keep my ear on like different rookies and whatnot, partially for fantasy football, but also for our shows, and you know, because I'm a fiend. But no, I haven't seen any Curtis Rourke hype coming out of training camp. But they hit gold with 30.
I think it's possible that Curtis is going to the CFL.
CFL?
This is the thing. Curtis Rourke is from Canada. He was drafted, I believe, in the first round of the CFL draft. His brother is one of the best quarterbacks, Nathan Rourke. And Nathan Rourke was the dude that I think he was with the Cardinals for a while, but Nathan Rourke is the starting quarterback, I think, for the BC Lions right now. So I would think he could probably bank close to $1 million going up there and being a starting quarterback on a team, and would make for a good game too when he plays his brother.
Canadian legend?
His brother's not a Canadian legend, but he is pretty good.
Maybe they can have a Jeff Garcia career. Go to Canada, play there till you're 30, and then
there's
come
a lot
to
of
the
dudes
NFL,
that have come from the CFL to the NFL and did well, and there's a lot of dudes that went from the NFL to CFL that failed miserably. I mean, Vince Ferragamo, who took the Rams to Super Bowl 14, played outstanding that season and in the playoffs. Then he went to the Montreal, I think it was the Alouettes in like 1980 or 81. I think it was 81. And hell, he was benched after 5 weeks. And he was back in the NFL and became a starter again for a little while.
No way.
Yeah, it's an entirely different game in Canada. You've got a much wider field. And, I mean, it's just, you got to have a lot more arm strength, too.
Arm strength? Is that for Canadian wind?
We get the wind, you get the weather, but you also got a much wider field. The hash marks are farther out. So the game is completely different. But Curtis Rourke could go there. His brother has made a good living there. And I think his brother was with the Cardinals for a while, wasn't he? Didn't he start for a few games even?
That sounds about right, yeah.
Because I always liked his brother. I think his brother's a good quarterback. But his brother's probably more suited to the CFL, and I think Curtis probably is too.
All right, little IU chat, football.
Yeah, we got CJ West and Curtis Rourke.
Look at that, back to back.
3 years ago, Dan didn't even know IU had a football team.
Okay, Seattle.
This is one of the more
best offseason.
This is an interesting team to me. Obviously, the best move is I think would be according to what your feelings are on whether Sam Darnold was a fluke or not. How about that? Because you got Sam Darnold. That's your biggest move. Is it your best move? Because Geno Smith, basically, you're trading Geno Smith for Sam Darnold. I know it's not to that actual team, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. And it better be Sam Darnold. How about that?
It better be. Because they're taking a huge swing on this.
Not really, because it's not like I think Geno Smith's awesome, though. I mean, Geno Smith kind of like Sam Darnold. Sometimes he looks like he's an elite quarterback. Sometimes he looks like he should probably be backing up, one of the Rourkes in the CFL.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I did write down Darnold. The other one I'm going to say is Cooper Kupp. That's the other name that stands out. But, I like DeMarcus Lawrence, too, that they brought in as an edge
I
rusher from
think they
Dallas.
did a decent job in free agency. I did not like I like the Elijah Arroyo pick, Cooper Kupp, Lawrence, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Not that he's great, but, if he's your third or fourth guy, you're pretty good. I like Gray Zabel. I think they did a lot of things here. And I would say the key subtraction has to be DK Metcalf, doesn't it?
Biggest subtraction, DK.
Tyler Lockett's pretty good too.
That's the one that does stand out.
I said Tyler Lockett, pretty good player too. Blake and Tomlinson. They lost some stuff here.
Blake and Tomlinson is another one.
And the thing that stands out to me is I know they did in a draft. They might have addressed that, but not with any veterans. So if you're going with a rookie, no matter how good you think they might be, you really don't know yet.
And the offensive line was a bit of a question. That was their biggest need coming into the offseason. And that was before Laken Tomlinson left. I'm not saying Tomlinson is anything special, but he started for them for the majority of the season. And you want that consistency up front. You want that veteran presence up front. And like you said, they don't really have it now. All their starters are slated to be guys who've been drafted since 2022. So their offensive line is really young, including Zabel, like you just mentioned. And I love the pick of Zabel. I think he's an immediate starter at guard. He can play center if they need him to. They can move him around.
I like Arroyo too. That maybe that's the guy.
I love the
because I think that's probably where you're going when we talk about the guy that can have the most impact, not picked in the first round. Correct?
Well, Mike, I like offensive players. It's just the fantasy football player in me that I like guys who produce stats. I like guys who scores touchdowns, and I like offensive players. I've picked a lot of running backs when we've done this. I've picked a lot of wide receivers. And yes, I'm going to go with Elijah Arroyo. But I did also write down Torrey Horton, wide receiver that they drafted in the 5th round out of Colorado State. I personally have how am I going to say this? I don't have the best feelings about Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Nobody ever
currently
does,
slated to be top 3 wide receivers, but he's nothing special. Horton should be seeing more playing time than him.
That's what I said. If he's your 4th guy, you might be okay.
Might be okay. But yeah, no, Elijah Arroyo was a huge get in the 2nd round. I don't know why he didn't go ahead of Terrence Ferguson with the Rams. I think it had to do with the injury that he sustained this season or this past year for Miami. But Arroyo stands out. Horton stands out. Damian Martinez was one of my favorite picks.
How about this? I think the Seahawks had by far the best draft.
They had one of the best drafts. They made some of my favorite picks.
Best draft. I love the first 5 picks. And my guy, and this is going to surprise you, I'm going to go Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. I think Jalen Milroe's game, he's nowhere near a polished passer. I know that. No. But you got Sam Darnold. You could sit behind Sam Darnold. You could learn a few things. But I think this is a guy that outside, I like Will Howard. The only 3 quarterbacks that I really think have a chance to be a quality starter, we're not talking elite, quality starter in this draft, Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel.
Love Will Howard. Okay.
And Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is a guy that I think was vastly undercoached at Alabama at the quarterback position. I think when you look at him, he's a little off in the footwork, he's just a little off in things. All right. And I think he's a guy that could progress into at least being a very good backup and possibly a starter in the NFL. And the thing is this, if Sam Darnold falls apart, Jalen Milroe's legs can keep you in a game. And Jalen Milroe is better than a Shedeur Sanders or an Anthony Richardson. He just is, especially Anthony Richardson. But
Milroe's physical talents is now, these were rumors, and I was never buying these rumors. It was very fishy at the time. But the rumors flying as the draft got closer that Jalen Milroe was being talked about as a a potential late first-round pick, so teams get that extra contract year.
Yeah, I can see that because when I watched him play before this year, different coaching staff before this year is what people got to remember. So, and it's not that it's a bad coaching staff, but it's not the same coaching staff. Milroe was much better the year before. I still don't think he was an elite NFL level quarterback, but I think he's a guy, when you see him, you can see that he can develop. Where we got other guys like Shedeur Sanders or Tyler Schaff or
Anthony
whatever.
Richardson.
I mean, there's so many guys there that it's just not going to happen for them. And Jalen Milroe's a guy I could see it happening for.
I really like Milroe, and I mean, his testing numbers were through the roof. We're talking about testing wise, one of the most athletic quarterbacks we've seen, up there with a guy like Lamar Jackson in terms of athletic testing abilities. Not saying he does what Lamar does on the field rushing wise. Lamar is Houdini out there, but Jalen Milroe is really, really athletically gifted, and I think he's a perfect fit for the direction the NFL is going in at the quarterback position. And compare him to a guy like Anthony Richardson, for example.
What's the direction you think the NFL is going with quarterbacks?
More mobile, more throwing outside of the pocket, offensive linemen who get more out of the pocket and more out in space.
Makes it so you can never win a Super Bowl.
I mean, if everyone's going to be playing that,
yeah, but not everybody's playing that. Hey, wait a second, the league's changing. But the best two quarterbacks by far are guys that are in the pocket. They will get out of the pocket if they have to. But Burrow and Mahomes, Burrow and Mahomes are in the pocket. What the NFL is going towards is shitty, overrated quarterbacks like Josh Allen, who, when you watch an all-22 film, if you know what you're seeing, you can see that the dude makes the wrong read a lot. And there's a reason why. And the same thing with Lamar Jackson. They make a lot of bad reads in these situations. Joe Burrow is the most accurate throwing quarterback I've ever seen. He reads a defense very well. Patrick Mahomes reads a defense very well. They run when they have to. This is the issue. Quarterbacks that run, Lamar Jackson's already missed out on basically half of 2 seasons. I mean, it's not always a great idea to take off running.
I mean, I don't want to get into that convo quite yet. I want to save that, because that's
it's not a fun one, Dan, because it's obvious there is one way to play quarterback. The other way don't work. Name me running quarterbacks that won anything. Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes are not running quarterbacks. They're dudes that run if they have to.
I mean, Hurts just had like 700 yards rushing.
700 yards, yeah. So that's not, 1,000 yards, which a lot of these guys are having. And also, wait a second.
But there's only like
3 or 4 guys with the RPOs and stuff. All right, run ain't there. You got to throw it ain't there. You run. There's a lot of situations where he gets more ability to run because he's not as smart as Mahomes or Burrow. So they have to run this gay ass, 12-year-old RPO offense. I don't like RPOs, by the way.
I can tell.
I had my quarterback one time asked me if we could run an RPO. I got a new quarterback.
Nice. But no, going back to Jalen Milroe, as a Florida fan, watching Anthony Richardson at Florida and then seeing what he's done in the NFL, and then watching Jalen Milroe at Alabama.
Yeah, it's 2 entirely different things.
They're 2 totally different.
But you know the thing that I really like about Milroe? The thing that, Robert Stewart, Steve Young, when he won a Super Bowl, was no longer a running quarterback. And this guy is my point. Randall Cunningham, when he was maybe the greatest running quarterback that's ever been seen, he didn't win a Super Bowl. Never made it to a Super Bowl. When he went to Minnesota and he got an actual NFL coach in Brian Billick who could teach him how to play quarterback, and he stood in the pocket, he won the MVP in 1999. Steve Young was not a runner in 1994, I don't believe. I mean, Steve Young in 1994 was 32, 33 years old. Now, let's look up Steve Young's rushing yards. Because if Steve Young would have won a Super Bowl in 1986, then I could see that.
Now, we got a little bit off track.
Okay, Steve Young ran for, hold on, I'm trying to get this for Robert because I want to know too. Hold on. Where's rushing yards for a quarterback? Come on, play the Jeopardy music here. All right, go ahead and talk. I haven't found them yet.
You haven't found them yet.
I haven't found them yet. I'm looking now.
Good job.
I'm still looking.
You're still looking. Well, okay. So yeah. So you sound like an old guy.
Well, I sound like an old guy, but until one wins a Super Bowl,
that's the thing.
He ran for 230 yards that year. I don't think he was a runner anymore.
That was Steve Young when he won the Super
1994. Bowl? That's 12 years into or 11 years into his career. He did not run anymore.
What did he run for? 200.
Hold on. No, that's not a touchdown pass he threw, though. My eyesight sucks. I need my glasses. Look, I would put them on, but then people will call me old and make fun of me.
Well, see, anyway, but I'm like,
look at that. Look at that. Do I look like an old guy then?
Yes.
All right, Robert, make a comment. Should I leave the glasses on or take them off?
Take them off.
I'll take them off. I look a lot sexier without the glasses.
Much better. By the way, Trey Moore is still at Texas.
Did we mention Trey Moore?
I feel like you might have, yes.
I don't know.
I think you mixed up the names.
Probably, because I'm old. I'm like 60 years old.
Fucking old.
And I still look younger than Dan.
But so when you talk about the rushing quarterbacks not winning, you just sound like an old guy. Because, I mean, half the starting quarterbacks are mobile now. And then mobile, again,
and they lose. And every year, the quarterbacks in the Super Bowls are usually a Burrow or a Mahomes.
I mean, Jaden Daniels just ran for 891 rushing yards, and you're not going to
win a Super Bowl
about him.
He didn't win a Super Bowl.
I mean, if that's what we're going by.
Hey, because I will tell you this. This is how I think this works. All right. I think Jaden Daniels is a runner. What I think you see Jaden Daniels turn into is more of a Burrow or Mahomes as he ages over the next 3 or 4 years. Because this is the thing. He's so good, he doesn't have to run.
No, he doesn't.
And Steve said to leave them on. And so did Robert, but then he put LOL, which makes me think he just wants to laugh and make fun of me if I do.
I think so. So anyway, aside from the quarterbacks,
he probably just wants me to leave them on so I can read. Go ahead.
Aside from the quarterbacks, which I'm excited for that show. We're going to dive in deep.
Hey, real quick, you forgot. Did they get better or worse?
I said the Seattle Seahawks stayed the same. And that's only if Darnold does what Geno did last year. Just be average.
I think
if he's any close to just what he was in Minnesota, they got better.
Running quarterback get hurt. That is correct, Robert. So I would say this. I think they got slightly better. I think Darnold is slightly better than Geno. And that's not – I'm really taking a shot at both because I don't think either are great. I think Darnold, I liked him coming out of college. I think he's proven to be a quality NFL quarterback. But still, if you're talking elite, he's not there. But I think, put it like this, in the future, I think there's a better chance that he becomes elite than Geno Smith. I mean, age alone would be why you would think that.
I think that's fair considering Geno's also like 33 years old.
That's what I just said.
Old as shit. But, okay.
I qualified it, all right?
So we're done. We're done with the offseason. Do you have any final bonus thoughts on the NFC West offseason?
No, I think they all suck.
Love it.
Really, so I think this. I think the Seahawks could surprise people if Darnold plays like he did last year. I think the 49ers are going to shock people because I think they're going to be below 500. I think the Rams, they need to reload this team a little bit. You need to start thinking about what you're going to do with a quarterback. The Cardinals, I'm sorry. I mean, Kyler Murray sometimes looks spectacular, but he don't do it for me. I think that's still an issue, but I think the Cardinals got good. I think their linebackers aren't great, but I think that defensive line's so good. They're a top 10 defense. Because let's face it, if you could stop the run with your front four or front three or however they want to play this and go hit the quarterback, the linebackers aren't as important all of a sudden. I mean, tell me who the linebackers were in Super Bowl 42 for the Giants.
Linebackers always been a problem with that team.
No, it hasn't. They had the greatest defensive football player that ever lived on that team.
Always in my lifetime. Let's say it that way.
I know, but your lifetime's not very long. How long are you?
37.
Wow, I'd have said you want to marry my daughter.
I think I'm too old for her.
Well, she's 30.
Oh, okay. Nice. Maybe.
Remember, Dan, I'm 20 years older than you, Dan.
Old.
You were born in 1988, correct?
87.
You were born in 1987. I was in college.
Wild times, Mike. Wild times. Okay, so we're done with the NFC West. Next time you see our beautiful faces, it's going to be talking about quarterbacks.
Next Wednesday, top 10 quarterbacks. Dan better put the right guy at number 1 because it's obvious. And he's actually stated it off air, so he's just being a bitch if he changes it.
Top 10 quarterbacks for the upcoming season. We're going to do it. It's going to be a great show. It's one of my favorite shows of the whole year, every year. Why don't you guys click on subscribe, give us a like, give us a follow, share on your social media, share with your sports friends and football fans and NFC West fans. I'm Dan Kornhauser for Mike Goodpaster. This has been the grueling truth.
Why are you speaking for me all of a sudden? Go ahead.